Assessing non-cognitive disposition and skills. Assessment also measures students' willingness to exert the energy required to understand or master a task. This is what we also need to do as a teacher to measure the non-cognitive skills of a student. Non-cognitive traits includes attitude, belief, grit, mindset, self-control, goal orientation, and values of students. It is part of the student's character and personality, also called as affective or socio-emotional traits. It has found out that students who value what they are doing are better problem solvers, will be more motivated to exert maximum effort, and are more likely to pay attention to information, remember it, reverse it, and apply it. A classroom with positive climate fosters students' engagement and learning. Why traits aren't systematically assessed? It is because cognitive is the focus in school, and attitudes are and values are taught at home. In addition, it's difficult to measure the traits because they are abstract and the frame of teachers are different from the students. Such traits includes attitude, interest, values, self-monitoring, integrity, motivation, self-efficacy, self-esteem, adaptability, interpersonal relationship, altruism, and perseverance. When we say attitudes, these are predisposition to respond favorably or unfavorably to specified situations, concepts, objects, institutions, or persons. We often think of the attitudes towards something, towards the school, towards the teachers, or towards the institution. Values refers to the importance, worth, or usefulness of modes or conduct. These are also the end states of existence. Being happy, being having freedom, being responsible, being cheerful are examples of value. Motivation is defined as the extent to which the students are involved in trying to learn. This can be measured through looking at the initiation of learning, intensity of effort, commitment, and persistence. There are two factors that influence motivation: the expectation of success and value of the activity. Self-efficacy is the self-perception of capabilities to learn or the belief that she or he is capable of learning a specific task. Self-esteem is the attitude towards oneself, the degree of self-respect, worthiness, or the desirability of one's concept. Interpersonal relationship is the nature of interpersonal interaction and functioning in social groups. Learning targets can address peer relation, pro-social behavior, taking perspective, and conflict resolution. So, when assessing non-cognitive dispositions and skills, it is important to keep in mind the three considerations. First is the emotions and feelings that can be changed quickly. That is why we need to conduct several assessments over a substantial length of time. Second, we need to use different approaches to measure different learning targets. And lastly, we need to decide if we need individual student or group results. There are three feasible methods of assessing students' non-cognitive disposition and skills: the teacher's observation, teacher's interviews, and students' self-report. Teacher's observation can be structured or unstructured, and several observations can be made. In a structured observations, we need to create a checklist or a rating form. An example is observing attitudes. The first thing that we need to do is to define what will be observed by making two columns for positive or approaching behavior, and the other side is for the negative or avoidance behavior. Interviews allows teachers to prove and clarify to avoid ambiguity, though they cannot be anonymous and are time consuming since some students have difficulty in articulating their feelings on one-on-one interview. Group discussions can be done. And lastly, students' self-reports. Students' self-reports includes questionnaires and surveys. Most teachers use scaled responses. Questions or statements can either be constructed or selective response format. Another example is for measuring interest, where we could use simple dichotomous choices or ranking or checklist.